How's it going, everyone? Beautiful day again. We had a bunch of rain yesterday and everything is just jamming. Looks really good. So we're up front. We're gonna start with our garden tour, and
week 3.
This is week 3
of 2020.
And the tomato plant is doing a comeback, and the cucumbers are also doing pretty good. They're starting to green up more. They were kind of yellowish. If you remember from last week, I had that over there, that bee box on this side. The reason why I moved it, the way it was facing our outside light. And if you do that, then at night it'll encourage them to come out, because I think it's daytime, and I didn't want that. Plus it was facing our driveway, just to make it easier so no one would get stung if they happen to be mad bees or something.
They happen to be.
Yeah, how many times are we gonna say bee?
Bee by the bees.
Lavender is doing good. So in here, the greenhouse, everything's doing good. The cucumber, the mosquitoes are growing, they're doing good. The cucumber is this long now. Crazy how long it is. So I'm trying to encourage it to stay up here. I might have to put a nail or a screw up here so it stays up there. There's a bunch of little cucumbers on there. Lettuce is also doing very well. Our other lettuce is coming in, so we're gonna start taking out rows on that end, and then we're gonna replant it with new lettuce and sow in some new lettuce and see if we can grow it now for the rest of the year, and then grow some more obviously this fall into winter. Onions are doing good. Celery's still doing really good. Our radishes, I can't believe we're still growing radishes and not getting woody. They're still really good, so we're eating them and giving away to a lot of people.
So we did end up deciding that with our cauliflower and our broccoli that was already flowering and starting to go to seed, that we're going to save seeds from it. So as long as we can keep it in here, if it's not taking up too much room, that's the plan, and we'll be collecting some seeds hopefully soon. So we were all ready to replant our celery, and then we had a big surprise. Not all of it, but a little bit of our celery just started poking up about right when we were ready to replant it. So we're hoping we get a little bit of celery. We still have that stuff growing from the store, but it would be nice to have some great big stalks that we don't usually get with that. Alright, so our tomato plant is still looking pretty sad. The leaves are curled kind of underneath and it's brittle. We've tried a few things, not watering it. We're thinking it was getting too much water. We certainly had lots of ideas and suggestions mentioned to us, and we're trying a few things, and hopefully next week we can report better news.
Cucumbers are taking off, which is awesome. I'm gonna show you this one. They're about the size of half of my pinky. Here's a prime example from the Back to Eden garden. These are doing really good, right? So this is the spot that's been 3 years in the making, okay? This half from right here, that way, was never in wood chips. This was always our walkway and everything else, and we never put wood chips up in here until this year. And if you look at these cucumbers, they're struggling. It's the first year in wood chips. So 3 years, first year. It's a big difference. And I should probably fertilize them. Put some nitrogen on there, that'll help them. Give them a boost. Week 3, 2020. Look at this, waist high. That one's taller, but waist high. What is gonna be next week? That last week it was knee high. If you didn't watch that video, I'm gonna link it down below. It's pretty cool. This is a big difference.
So far I have been so impressed by the potatoes. We have been hilling, and they're doing great. So if this works out and if we end up with a lot of potatoes, we might do this in the future, or some version of this. We'll see. We found a surprise in our garden this week, a little volunteer dill, which is so exciting because our dill hasn't even sprouted yet.
Super impressed with the onions. I just can't say it enough. We started from seed, and I'm definitely gonna do that again if we get onions. They're looking good on the top, but what are they underneath the soil? Time will tell. Recently, I've been just adding wood chips because of what I did last year. I made a huge mistake, and I added grass in the fall with wood chips, but I added the grass on top. I did it because I thought it's a, you know, cheaper way for nitrogen. I have how much grass, why not put it in the garden, you know? Well, what I did is I made compost on top of the wood chips, and it didn't compost all the way through, so you kind of had a double layer. Like, we had weeds on top. So what I'm doing is I'm just freshening it up and adding about 3 inches throughout the garden, where the weeds are bad, where I put the heavy grass. So just to kind of help with the weeds, because we've never ever had weeds like this before, ever. And so I just want to show you guys that and tell you guys that, because normally we don't do any wood chips. We only do it in the fall. The Tomatillos, we've never grown these before. We kind of ran into a problem. When I was spreading these wood chips, I saw little slugs on them, and I had to actually take one plant out because there was no leaves left. So when I looked around, it was all that grass around them that I spread. So I wonder if that played a part in it. So I kind of put the wood chips pretty thick around them, and then we're gonna put some neem oil on there to hopefully save the rest of them, because Sarah noticed on a couple other ones that there was a little bit more slugs, so we just picked those leaves off. Or we'll do a beer trap, but there's other ways to do it. I don't feel like wasting any of my beer on them.
Shortly after filming this, I found an adult 3-line potato beetle next to some yellow eggs. A quick Google search told me that what we thought were slugs were actually potato beetle larvae. It also said the potato beetles enjoyed tomatillos. Who knew? We mixed up a spray of Dawn dish soap and water, sprayed the plants, and it removed most of the larvae and the eggs. The next day I went out and removed what was left by hand, and we haven't seen any eggs, larvae, or potato beetles since. Hopefully that did the trick.
If you remember in the other videos, this whole area was really weedy, so I came down and weeded it, and I put 5 inches of wood chips down here to help suppress all the weeds. And this is the area that we did last year, was the first year. So, but I have something to show you. See this little guy? Look at this cucumber. Look at that thing. Isn't it gorgeous?
Our raspberry plants are so full of raspberries. We planted these last year. We didn't get any raspberries off of them, but our raspberry plants are so full of raspberries right now. They're not quite red, but soon. Roy's birdhouse has some baby birds in it.
Dad joke. B-roll.
This is our apple tree that was here when we moved in. We don't know what kind of apples they are. We know they're good. We've never gotten more than 2 dozen apples off this tree, but this year it is loaded. It's full of apples, so we're hoping we get a lot more. It's really tall, so we probably won't be able to reach them all, but hopefully we get some apples.
Dang mosquitoes.
Thanks for watching our 3rd garden tour of 2020. We hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and click the subscribe button down below if you're not subscribed already.
Glad you got to see us again.
Bye.
Bye.